Hello, everyone. Imagine you're about to close the most important sale of the quarter. You've spent months working on this opportunity, investing endless hours in meetings, calls, and proposals. And now you're in the boardroom, about to present the final proposal. Your heart is racing. You know this presentation can change everything. But you also know that in 80% of cases, deals fall through for reasons you didn't anticipate. Sound familiar? Today, we're going to talk about how artificial intelligence is radically transforming the most critical phase of the B2B sales cycle, the proposal and the close. And no, I'm not talking about AI closing the sale for you. No, sir. I'm talking about something much more powerful, turning AI into your personal strategic advisor, your 24/7 tactical analyst who helps you see what your eyes can't see, anticipate what your intuition can't grasp. Because here's the truth many don't want to hear. In complex B2B sales, 73% of deals fail not because of price, not because of the product, but because of internal customer factors you never even knew about. Internal politics, power dynamics, hidden agendas, all those elements your star salesperson claims to feel, but are actually based more on hunches than hard data. AI is radically changing this. Today, we're going to look at how to transform yourself from a salesperson who trusts their gut into a strategist who combines human intuition with deep data analysis. We'll see how AI can map your client's internal politics better than any outside consultant, how it can predict blockers before they occur, and how it can help you craft proposals that resonate exactly with what each decision-maker needs to hear. Welcome to Phase 4, Proposal and Close, where AI becomes your most valuable strategic advisor. Now, before you get excited and rush to ask ChatGPT to help you close your next big sale, we need to establish something fundamental. AI can only be as good as the information you give it. It's like having the best detective in the world, but if you don't give it all the clues, it won't be able to solve the mystery. The most common mistake I see is salespeople asking the AI, "How should I present my proposal to this client?" And the AI responds with something generic because it lacks context. It's like asking a chef to cook your favorite meal without telling them what you like, what you're allergic to, or what the occasion is. So, what information do you need to feed your AI so it can truly advise you strategically? 5 key elements. First, the client's hard data: sector, size, current financial situation, market trends in which it operates. Not just it's a tech company, but it's a 200-employee fintech that just raised a $15 million Series B, is growing 150% year over year, but has a burn rate that gives them 18 months of runway. Second, the decision-maker's psychographic profile. Is it a CFO who only speaks the language of ROI? Is it a CTO who is enamored with technical innovation? Is it a CEO who is obsessed with scalability? I once had a case where the salesperson couldn't understand why his proposal wasn't resonating. It turns out the decision-maker was a former McKinsey consultant who only thought about frameworks and processes. The AI, analyzing his LinkedIn posts and interviews, identified that he needed to see his problem structured in a framework before he could decide. Third, the real competitive landscape. Not just they also talk to our competitors, but who exactly they are, what they liked and disliked about each alternative, what stage of evaluation each competitor is in, and what their unique value proposition is compared to yours. Fourth, and this is crucial, the complete story of the opportunity. All the emails, call transcripts, objections that arose, who said what and when. The magic is in the seemingly insignificant details. "I think this is interesting" in the meeting minutes can be a sign of an internal champion you never identified. Fifth, the organizational context. Did they just complete a layoff? Are they in the midst of a digital transformation? Is the board pushing for results this quarter? This completely changes the urgency and framing of your proposal. When you feed AI this complete context, something magical happens. Suddenly, its recommendations stop being generic and become surgically precise. It's like the difference between asking for love advice from a friend who only knows that you like someone versus one who knows your entire history, your fears, your past patterns, and the details of the other person. And here comes the first superpower. AI can process all this information in seconds and see patterns that would take a human days or weeks to connect. It can tell you, Based on this CFO's profile and the pressures he mentioned on the last earnings call, you should frame your proposal in terms of a 23% operating cost reduction over the next 18 months, not overall operating efficiency. The tools I'm personally using for this: ChatGPT with custom instructions configured so it knows who I am, Claude for its ability to analyze longer documents more deeply, and Gemini because it has access to more up-to-date information about companies and markets. And here comes the first superpower. AI can process all this information in seconds and see patterns that would take a human days or weeks to connect. It can tell you, based on this CFO's profile and the pressures he mentioned on the last earnings call, you should frame your proposal in terms of a 23% operating cost reduction over the next 18 months, not overall operating efficiency. Once your AI has all the context, it's time to ask the right questions. And this is where many salespeople miss a golden opportunity. It's not about asking, "How should I present my proposal?" It's about asking the tactical questions a McKinsey strategy consultant would ask you. Let me share with you the 4 questions that changed my life in sales. These are the ones I use before every important closing, and AI has helped me refine them into a powerful weapon. Question number 1. Give me the 3 key yes or yes points. This specific decision maker needs to hear to make a decision in our favor. It's not what should they say, it's what do they need to hear. The difference is subtle but powerful. The AI analyzes the decision maker's profile, their public priorities, their internal pressures, and gives me exactly the 3 messages that will resonate. For example, for a CFO of a growing startup, the AI told me, 1. Prove you can scale without increasing headcount more than 15%. 2. Show that your solution pays for itself in 8 months maximum. 3. Project the impact on positive cash flow by Q4 of next year. Bingo. That closed the sale. Question number 2. What should I avoid mentioning at all costs in the exit meeting? This is pure gold. We all have those points we think are strengths, but are actually negative triggers for certain profiles. AI has saved me countless times. Once, I was about to mention that we work with my prospect's direct competitor as a case study. The AI stopped me. This CEO hates that company. Mentioning them would be a deal killer. I avoided that trap thanks to prior analysis. Question 3. Identify potential blockers or risks I'm not seeing. This is where AI shines because it can see patterns your mind would have to spend days processing. It analyzes contradictions in conversations, changes in tone in emails, indirect mentions of other stakeholders. I remember one case where the AI told me, "The CTO is saying they love your solution, but they've mentioned concerns about integration complexity 3 times. This is an adoption red flag that could kill the deal after the contract." They were right. We prepared a phased implementation plan that addressed this concern and saved the deal. Question 4. Suggest how to mitigate specific risk before the final meeting. This is where AI becomes your personal strategist. It not only identifies problems, but proposes tactical solutions. In another case, AI detected that the head of legal was concerned about the solution's compliance with new European regulations. It suggested preparing a specific one-pager on GDPR, including certifications and use cases in similar companies. We prepared that, sent it 48 hours before the meeting, and legal became our internal champion. The beauty of this process is that AI can uncover angles or pitfalls that would otherwise go unnoticed in the whirlwind of the sales process. Things your conscious mind doesn't process because you're focused on selling, but that your analytical AI detects as critical patterns. Now we come to what I consider AI's superpower in closing: analyzing the client's internal politics. This is especially critical in B2B sales, where the decision involves multiple stakeholders. In the average B2B company, a decision over EUR 50,000 involves between 6 and 10 people. Each has their own agenda, priorities, fears, and internal political relationships. Traditionally, salespeople try to feel these dynamics. But here's the inconvenient truth. Human intuition is terrible at mapping complex systems of influence. We fall victim to our own biases, make assumptions based on limited interactions, and project our own organizational structures onto the client. AI changes this completely. Here's the process I use to map internal politics with objective data. Step 1. Gather all the transcripts from meetings with different stakeholders. The CTO who talked about innovation, the CFO who asked about ROI, the head of HR who mentioned the impact on the workforce, the CEO who talked about strategic vision. Everyone. Even those meetings where you thought the mid-level manager was off the mark. Step 2. Upload all this information to your AI with specific instructions. Analyze the transcripts of these meetings and map out the internal politics of this organization for me. I want to know who has real decision-making power, who can block the deal, who can be an ally, what contradictions exist between different stakeholders. Step 3. Let the AI do its magic. And when I say magic, I mean magic. The AI can detect things like, the CTO says he wants disruptive innovation, but has mentioned risks of changing too quickly 3 times. Translation: he's afraid of technical complexity, but can't say so outright. The CFO has asked about implementation costs, but never mentioned ROI. The AI detects that he's more concerned about the current budget than the long-term return. The head of HR has mentioned impact on organizational culture twice, but has never specified what kind of impact. The AI suggests he has unspoken concerns about changes in workflows. There's a contradiction between the CEO talking about scaling quickly and the COO mentioning a stabilization phase. This is a giant red flag for strategic alignment. The AI can also map influence relationships. It can detect that when the CTO speaks, the CEO nods but asks questions of the CFO, or that the head of legal intervenes more when certain topics are discussed, patterns that reveal who influences whom. But here's the kicker. AI doesn't just map, it predicts. It can tell you, based on language and interruption patterns, there's a 78% chance the CFO will block the deal if their cash flow concerns aren't addressed in the next 18 months. Or, the CTO is your natural ally, but they need technical arguments to convince the board. Prepare a white paper comparing our integration with alternatives. This objective mapping of internal politics is impossible to do intuitively. It requires analyzing language patterns, frequency of mentions, interruptions, changes in tone, and correlations that the human mind simply can't process in real time. Now that you have the political mapping, you need a structure to validate that you're truly qualified to close. And this is where sales frameworks like MEDIPIC become brutal when you combine them with AI. For those unfamiliar with MEDIPIC, it's an acronym that represents the critical elements of qualification in complex sales. Metrics: what is the quantifiable impact? Economic buyer: who authorizes the budget? Criteria: what criteria do they use to evaluate? Decision process: how is the decision made? Pain: what is the critical problem? Identified pain: is the pain identified and quantified? Champion: who supports us internally? The magic happens when you ask the AI to evaluate all your conversations using this framework, not as a mechanical checklist, but as a deep analysis of gaps and opportunities. For example, you tell the AI, analyze all transcripts using MEDIPIC and tell me which elements are confirmed, which are assumptions, and which are completely unknown. What the AI discovers is amazing. It can tell you things like, in the 12 conversations you've had, you've never specifically identified who the economic buyer with veto power is. The CFO has been in meetings but has never conveyed their approval. This is a critical red flag. Or, you've assumed the pain is operational inefficiency, but on 3 different occasions, the CTO has mentioned that their real concern is technical scalability to support the planned growth. Your current framing doesn't address this specific pain. But AI goes further. It can predict probabilities. Based on the full MEDIPIC analysis, there is a 65% probability that this deal will be delayed more than 6 months because 1. An identified champion with direct influence on the economic buyer is missing. 2. The decision criteria have not been presented by any stakeholder. 3. The decision process mentions board approval, but you haven't mapped who is on the board or their incentives. The best part is when AI gives you specific tactical recommendations. To close the gap in decision criteria, suggest sending an email to the CTO with this subject. Quick question on technical evaluation criteria. 2 minutes to confirm we're aligned. In the body, ask directly. To make sure our proposal addresses your specific evaluation framework, could you share the top 3 technical criteria the team will use to compare solutions? AI can also identify patterns that indicate you're losing the deal. For example, if you notice that in the last 3 calls, you've had to justify the price without them mentioning it first, it could mean you're in defensive mode and the perception of value is diminishing. The MEDIPIC framework with AI gives you a methodological rigor that's impossible to maintain manually. It's like having a veteran sales manager analyzing every interaction and giving you immediate feedback. Now we come to my favorite part: how AI helps you create proposals that not only read, but resonate with each specific decision maker. Because here's the truth many salespeople don't want to hear. A generic proposal, no matter how well written, has a near-zero chance of success in complex B2B sales. Every decision maker needs to hear their own story, in their own language, in their own words. And AI can help you create this at scale. The process is elegant in its simplicity. Step 1. You feed the AI the decision maker's full profile. Not just their role, but their background, their publications, their interviews, their concerns raised in previous calls. The AI creates a detailed decision maker persona. Step 2. You ask the AI to rewrite key sections of your proposal specifically for that persona. Not the entire proposal, but the critical elements: the executive summary, the value section, the investment justification, and the call to action. The magic is in the details. For example, for a CFO with a background in private equity, the $500,000 investment generates an additional $1.2 million in cash flow over the next 18 months, representing an IRR of 140% and a payback period of 8.3 months. This return is 3.2x higher than the company's current cost of capital of 12%. For a CTO with a PhD in machine learning, the microservices architecture enables incremental integration without operational disruption. Our optimization algorithms, based on gradient boosting ensembles, have demonstrated 34% improvements in predictive accuracy on datasets similar to yours. For a former Toyota COO of operations, the system reduces operational waste following lean principles, with a 28% cycle time reduction and the elimination of 6 waste categories identified in your current value stream mapping. But AI goes further. It can identify missing value arguments that are specifically relevant to that decision maker, but that you didn't mention. For example, for a CEO coming from a venture capital background, AI might suggest you include: the land and expand approach reduces acquisition risk while validating ROI, aligned with Lean Startup's validated learning methodology. It can also optimize emotional language. If the decision maker is someone who uses a lot of visual language, I see the big picture, it's clear to me, I visualize the impact. AI adapts your proposal to use visual metaphors. Imagine seeing in real time how each operational decision directly impacts the bottom line, with dashboards that illuminate hidden opportunities. AI can also predict objections based on language. If you notice the decision maker using a lot of buts, however, and although, you can anticipate that they are naturally someone who sees obstacles. Your proposal should include risk mitigation and implementation safeguards sections to align with their thinking style. The ultimate impact: coherent, powerful messages tailored to each decision maker's specific context. It's not just personalization, it's hyper-personalization that demonstrates a deep understanding of their unique motivations. Now, all this custom work sounds incredible, but you're probably thinking, doesn't this take a long time to do? How can I scale this? This is where AI becomes your best friend in document agility. Because the truth is, no one closes sales because their proposals are pretty. Sales are closed when you focus on strategy and relationships, not PowerPoint design. First, the automatic generation tools. PandaDoc, with integrated AI, can generate complete proposals in minutes, not days. You give it the context, the customer profile, and the AI creates the structure, includes relevant case studies, generates pricing, and even suggests terms and conditions based on similar deals. Second, analyzing existing documentation. Google Notebook LM is amazing for this. You can upload all your case studies, white papers, and previous ROI studies, and AI creates personalized interactive decision guides for each prospect. Imagine being able to tell a client, "Here's an interactive guide with 15 case studies from companies similar to yours, with specific ROI projected for your industry and size." Third, intelligent automation. AI not only generates documents, but can automate time-consuming administrative work. For example, after each call, AI can automatically generate the executive summary for the client, update the CRM with all the key insights, create a personalized follow-up email for each stakeholder, and prepare the agenda for the next call. The key benefit: you reduce administrative time from 40% to 5%. That means you can go from generating 3 proposals a week to 10, maintaining the same or higher quality. But here's the real value. By freeing yourself from document work, you can focus on what really closes sales, strategy, and the relationship. You can spend those extra 2-3 days on additional discovery calls, creating value for the client before the contract, and building internal support coalitions. The irony is brutal. AI allows you to be more human in the sales process. While it handles the documents, you manage the client's emotions, concerns, and aspirations. We've reached the end of our exploration of how AI is transforming the proposal and closing phase, but this is really just the beginning. Because what we've seen today isn't just an incremental improvement in sales efficiency. This is a fundamental transformation in how complex B2B deals are closed. First, the transformation of the close from a leap of faith to a data-driven strategic decision. Before, closing a big deal was like playing poker with partially whole cards. You had your intuition, your experience, your reading of the situation. But there was always an element of faith, of, "I hope there isn't something I'm missing." With AI as your strategic advisor, closing becomes chess instead of poker. You can see the whole board, anticipate moves, plan countermoves. It reduces the probability of unanticipated risks from 73% to at least 15% according to my internal metrics. Second, the combination of human intuition with deep data analysis. AI doesn't replace your sales instinct, it enhances it. It's like having a reconnaissance satellite while your enemy only has scouts on horseback. You can see the entire battlefield while executing your strategy. Third, the acceleration of junior team development. A junior salesperson who masters these AI tools can have the analytical skills of a senior with 10 years of experience. Not the wisdom, not the relationships, but the strategic analysis. This is democratizing sales excellence in a way we've never seen before. But here's the critical caveat. AI is only as good as the human driving it. It's not about blindly trusting what AI tells you. It's about using it as a strategic consultant, taking its insights, combining them with your human judgment, and executing with confidence. The next steps for you are clear. Choose an AI tool and master it. Whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, choose one and become an expert. Set up custom instructions specific to B2B sales. Start small, but start now. Take your next big opportunity and apply what we've seen today. Just one. Document the results. Learn. Adjust, build your tool stack. PandaDoc for proposals, Notebook LM for document analysis, a CRM platform with built-in AI. You don't need everything on day one, but you do need a plan. Share and learn with others. The AIinSales community is growing rapidly. The insights you share today can work to your advantage tomorrow. And this is just the beginning. In our next video, we'll explore Phase 5, post-closing automation and team development. We'll see how AI eliminates 80% of post-call administrative work, how it accelerates the onboarding of new salespeople, and how it's creating a new category of AI-augmented salespeople. The future of sales is already here. And it's not about AI replacing salespeople. It's about salespeople who use AI replacing those who don't. The question isn't whether you should adopt these tools. The question is, how long can you afford not to have them while your competition does? The perfect close is no longer a mysterious art. It's a science that combines human empathy with data analysis, intuition with evidence, and relationship with strategy. And that's like having superpowers in the sales world. Together, we've taken a fascinating journey through the transformation AI is driving in the most critical phase of the sales cycle. from turning intuition into strategic analysis to creating proposals that resonate with each decision maker individually. The central message is clear. AI isn't here to replace human closing magic. It's here to enhance it, to give you visibility into areas where human intuition is limited, to transform you from a salesperson who trusts their gut into a strategist who combines instinct with processed intelligence. Your immediate action. Today, open ChatGPT or Claude and create your first strategic analysis for a real opportunity. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be better than going in blind. Remember, in complex B2B sales, it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. And AI is the tool that is democratizing access to strategic analyses, previously only available to top consulting firms with multi-million-dollar budgets. The future belongs to augmented salespeople. Are you going to be left behind? Thank you so much for taking the first step toward becoming a smart salesperson. See you in Phase 5, where we'll explore how AI is transforming post-closing and team development.